yeah, that's how it all started, by my love for reading is why I wanted to write a book, you know. And then I'm like, well, maybe I can help people with this. So let's incorporate, my love for writing and helping people together. The main character is Lacey, and she is um, emotionally depressed, and she doesn't really realize it until a little bit later, but she has these ideas where, she starts thinking a lot, and she's thinking, what would happen if something happened to me? Okay? And she goes through with that. She's able to, you know, pretend to, you know, kill herself, and this entire school that she goes to is affected by it, and even people that don't go to the school are affected by it in somehow. And because of that, it just is a chain of events that lead up to something even more drastic happening to somebody else or something. You get to see how things, little things or big things, can change somebody entirely. And it affects other people, and then that affects other people, and just so on. And it's just basically, it shows you that every decision you make affects somebody else, and I think that's the biggest idea of the entire story. I think they'll learn more to, look deeper into people to see what they're actually feeling, because there's people at my school that are faking their smiles right now, and I know it, and I can see it, and I just hope that if they are more aware of the things that can happen to people, suicide, then maybe they'll look deeper into somebody, and if they see somebody that's looking sad or something, they'll go up and say, do you need to talk to me or something, just anything like that to help. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, there's days when everybody feels down, but sometimes it's just harder to get back up, and I think that all relates to possibly depression. I don't know, but I think there's just some days where I don't even want to get out of bed because there's just no reason to. But then I think, I've got a lot ahead of me, so I have to keep going. The two things I wanted most were more people to be reading, and of course to get the message out about these types of things that can happen to teens. And not just suicide, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, all that stuff. That's mainly the topic that I write about. So it gets people more aware of it. I think because it's such a major issue in today's society that if we don't do something about it now, it's just going to continue to get worse. And, us teens, we're more able to connect with other teens rather than adults because we can feel like we can relate to them easier. And I think that's really important because if other teens are helping other teens, they'll feel more comfortable. I mean, it's kind of weird to talk about your problems with an adult if you think about it. So I think if more teens were able to help other teens, it'd make things, it would help, the society. And I think, maybe people would be a little bit happier. Society today is so reliable on technology that who needs books, right? I mean, we have the internet to look up all the things we need. And I think that's one of the main reasons why, teens our age don't read that much. Well, typically, if you're a normal teen, you're on Facebook like all the time, on your phone, on the computer, during school. And they just find that more exciting than, I guess, reading a book because they just don't like to read. Or they just prefer doing something else rather than reading. I like actually having the book in my hand, and I just think that's better. That's like a better way because eventually, sometime in the future, we're not going to have books. They're all going to be on tablets. And I find that incredible, but I think it's just better to actually have the book in your hand than to just read it online. You don't get the same experience. I think that if it's something they can relate to, then they'll be more inclined to read it. And then, telling other people word of mouth, about this, hey, I really liked this, I really connected with this book. Maybe you should give it a try. And maybe that'll encourage them to read it more. I hope to continue writing. Obviously, I want to finish the book I'm working on right now. That is the sequel to Lacey's Chain. And because the first book kind of leaves you, hanging there, and you don't know what's going to happen to the characters. So I'm finishing up that one. And then, after that one's all done, then I'll start working on the next one. But I have started working on it, just a little bit, not too much. I want to start getting into eating disorders and self-esteem issues. That would be my next topic that I'd focus on in a book. And then from there, who knows what I'll do next.